Hello there. Tonight's not going to be a shave video. I just wanted to kind of share with you a few of the things that I shave with. Some of the things that I really like. Some of my favorite things. We won't be getting into soaps, but some stuff like razors and brushes and, excuse me, aftershave eau de toilettes, that kind of thing. Just stuff that I like. Things that I think, you know, things that I really enjoy to shaving with, things like that. And we'll start with the brushes. Uh, my Eveready 500 PBT Pure Badger brush. Don't know if you can read that or not, but it's a an old vintage brush. It's got a vintage knot in it, but the knot is still really good. It's like a 16 or 18 millimeter at the base knot, and it's completely backboneless. It has no backbone whatsoever. Matter of fact, if you get it wet, a lot of times, if you're not careful, it will flop to one side. But the tips of this, you hear all the time on forums that Badger doesn't break in. These are the softest tips of any uh, brush that I've got, even well broken in boar brushes, which most of you people call boar brushes scritchy. When they break in and wear in, many of them are very soft. But anyway, I mean, this is just an incredibly soft brush with absolutely no scritch or prickliness for a pure badger. It's just a wonderful brush, and despite the fact that it doesn't have any backbone, this thing whips up an incredible lather really fast. And it's a beautiful design, just a wonderfully lovely brush. Actually, the handle design actually fits my hand really well. Uh, I love the thing. Uh, and speaking of Pure Badger, I'm also a fan of really cheap Pure Badger brushes. This is a Simply Beautiful Pure Badger brush. You can get them on Amazon. I won this in a piff. But you can get this brush on Amazon for like less than 13 bucks before shipping, I think it is. And yeah, it's got a bit of prickliness, but it's actually pretty soft as well. Not enough to bother me a whole lot. I really enjoy shaving with it. It also is really floppy. Doesn't have a ton of backbone to it. But I like the cheap Pure Badgers because I like the color of the Pure Badger. I like that dark color. I like silver tip and stuff too. That the two band look and all is pretty, but I love the color, just the dark color of the Pure Badger, and the handle on this brush it's got a good weight to it. It's not super light for the size and all. It's just a well balanced brush, and it does a good job. And just like the Eveready, the Pure Badger knot whips lather up really wonderfully. They both hold wonderful amounts of water, and they do the job really well, really cheaply. And I can even lather hard soaps like Mitchell's Wool Fat with this. The backbone's not necessary for it. It just picks up the lather and does a good job. So then we want to move on to Borbs. Move on to boars. It's going to be that kind of night, it looks like. The Semogue 1470 is a wonderful brush now. If you'll notice, the knot's all gnarly looking and not shaped really well. I don't care. It's a shaving brush. It's got wonderfully soft tips, a wonderful amount of backbone. I mean, just a wonderful brush. The wooden handle is wonderful. Smogs are handmade in Portugal, I believe. They're just wonderful brushes. And you know, it's a beautiful brush, and it feels wonderful on the face. And there's not a soap or cream or anything else this won't tame really easily. And it's just a wonderful brush. And if you haven't noticed, I'm a fan of the smaller type brushes. I bowl lather. So with a bowl, the smaller handles and the smaller knots, it's not clinking up against the bowl and stuff like that when I bowl lather. And I just, I don't want a big honking knot on my face. I know a lot of guys like that Walla Badger kind of feel. I can take it or leave it. This brush right here, when it splays out and I put lather in it and it splays, or even like the Pure Badger, this small, when that sprays out, it's going to cover my face and do all I need to do. And it's just, they're wonderfully handmade brushes, and they do a wonderful job. And you could use one of these smoke bores or the Omegas. I've never used them, but I know that they have a good reputation as a good bore brush. But you could use a good bore brush for the rest of your life and never miss a Badger brush. Just my opinion. But bores are wonderful, and the Smogs are just wonderful. And that brings me to the last brush that I'm going to show. These are just favorites for one way or the other, and it is also a Smog. It's the 1438. It's got they tried to do a Badger look, which a lot of guys don't like. I don't mind it. I think the natural bristle does look much better for a boar, but that's a cool look, and I love the shape of the handle. It's a little bit more squat than the 1470. It feels fatter in the hand because of those differences in the handle shape. And I just like it. It's got the cream and the more antique red look. The colors are wonderful. The shape of the handle is wonderful. It's just a beautiful design, and the knot's good too. It's not. I think this is a little bit better knot. This knot is not quite as soft, but it's firm. It's got the backbone this one's got, but it's not quite as soft, and it's well broken in, so it just doesn't get quite as soft as that one does. And that's just, I guess, the difference in the type of boar hair that's used in it, but it's not a big deal. It's still a wonderful brush. It still does the job really well, and it's beautiful. I really think this is one of the most beautiful brush designs, handle-wise and all, that I have ever seen in a brush. I don't care whether it's boar, a Badger, or whatever. That is really classy, and I love this brush because of it. So those are the brushes. Excuse me a bit. I need to wet my whistle. Yes, it says Diet Pepsi, but this is actually Diet Mountain Dew. I pretty much live on Diet Mountain Dew, and that's my favorite drink. And I'm not sipping Irish coffee or anything like that. Yellow dye number 5, and when I die, they won't even have to embalm me. So, but anyway, let's look at the razors. First, let's look at DE razors. The first one on my list, it's a favorite of mine, is a Fat Handle Tech. I think I looked this up online. I talked to someone on Badger and Blade, I believe it was. And yeah, this is the one that had no date code on it. And I believe that it was determined that it was a 57 or a 51. I believe 57 is what they said. But it's a fat handle tech. They're ubiquitous. They're all over the place. This one has absolutely no plating left on it whatsoever. Matter of fact, I will be probably having this replated. It's in really good shape, and I'll probably have it nickel plated at some point. It's not very expensive to have it done, and it's a wonderful razor, very well balanced. I like the head to be just a little bit heavier than the handle, and this one is, and it's just a really good razor that fits really well in hand, and it shaves wonderfully. So that's a favorite. But then uh, one of the prides of my collection, 67 Black Handle Tech, came with a case. Wonderful twist to open razor. I started out with a Black Handled Super Speed in the 70s. That was the first razor that I used. And I looked long and hard for one of these to find one because, it's the memories of those first DE shaves are what brought me back to wet shaving after decades using carts and disposables and even electric razors. One day I just remembered the shaves that I had with a razor like this and started looking around for a DE. I said, heck with it. I'm going to go back to those. I'd rather have whatever happened to that classy razor I used to shave with, that wasn't made out of plastic and didn't have a pivoting head with two pieces of thin steel that they pretend they got sharp, I said, I remembered the shaves with this razor, and I said, I'm going to find me another one, and now I'm ate up with razor acquisition disorder and all the other acquisition disorders. I'm ate up with them, but having a wonderful time. So my Black Handle Super Speed 67 Black Handle Super Speed, and then one of the prides of my collection, 1964 Gillette Slim Adjustable. This particular razor, for those of you that follow my channel, was gone over by none other than Captain Murphy on Badger and Blade. Completely disassembled, cleaned, reassembled, and put back together with love and care. It's just an incredibly beautiful, well-balanced razor. Got a wonderful heft to it. Very versatile. From mild to wild in 9 settings. Just a beautiful razor. And then lastly, on DEs is my 68 Lady Gillette, the blue, people call them blue stars. It's a Lady Gillette. Oh, blue star sounds better for a guy. It's a Lady Gillette. That's what it is. And I'm not afraid to say it. It's got blue stars on it, and the pink one's got pink stars on them, but they're both Lady Gillettes. That's what they are. This was my father-in-law's razor, and I can promise you he was 96 when he passed. World War II veteran. There wasn't a lady bone in his body. And he used this razor. Didn't care what anybody thought of it. I doubt he ever worried or asked. I doubt anybody ever asked him, what kind of razor are you using there, Harry? He didn't care. Wonderfully mild razor. Beautiful shaves. Again, wonderful balance. Just lovely. And then SCs. I've got 3 different SCs. But my favorite at the moment is my shovel head. 1924 Ever ready shovel head. Don't want to leave my fingerprints on it. With the flat looking teeth, comb, whatever you want to call it. Beautiful razor. Excellent, excellent shave. Lovely. And that brings us to straight razors. This is the pride of my straight razor collection. This also came from my father-in-law, Harry. It's the Boker. SS St. Louis. Just a beautiful razor. Wonderful shaver. Incredibly well balanced. Well made. And most of all, it belonged to my father-in-law. And you could tell that he took really good care of it and loved it. I love it as well. And hopefully Harry knows that I'm shaving with this razor, because I know that he would be proud that somebody else has fallen in love with it. So then kind of a humble razor. And some of these blades, they all have oil on them, so you'll see a bit of oil on the blade. But I don't know if you can see it, but if you look on the spine, there it says 51 the Victor. Chicago straight razor company, the box that came with this said something like that, I think. The Victor. And it's just an old American razor, old American steel. It's a 5/8 or 6/8, one of the two. I believe this one's a 6/8. The other one, yeah, the next one is a 5/8. The Boker and this one are both 6/8. Just a wonderfully sharp, smooth razor, well balanced, lovely. One of my favorite shavers. It shaves almost exactly like that Boker does. Just a beautiful, beautiful straight razor. And then this razor I picked up for $5 at a local flea market. Of course, I had to restore it, but I restored the handles. They were broken. It's got bird's eye maple scales and a black ebony wedge that I made and put on it. They have a CA finish on them. And let's see, it's Germania Cutlery. The Oxford razor. It's a 5/8. And it's just a wonderful, again, lovely shaver. One of my favorites as well to shave with. And then lastly, with my straight razors, is a Genco Grant 9/16 round point. Wonderful razor. Tasmanian Blackwood scales, once again, that I put on the razor, made and put on the razor. Just beautiful wood in my opinion. And this razor is the sharpest razor in my collection. This razor, if you're not careful, you'll cut your head off. Not quite, but I mean, it's an incredibly sharp It takes an incredibly sharp edge to it, and I like the 9/16 size. It's a bit shorter, I think, as well, but it's narrower, and it just on the face, it's very maneuverable. It's just a uh, beautifully designed and balanced razor that I'm proud to have in my collection. So that's the hardware side of the equation. And now let's look at stuff like aftershaves. One of the favorite aftershaves that I have, and it's become a really, really uh, frequent favorite of mine. $1.75 at the Dollar General. Barbasol Brisk. It's just got a wonderful barbershop scent. This is the smell of the barbershops that I used to go to when I was a kid. This is obviously what they used. I know people say Pinaud Clubman, and yeah, I can smell, when I smell the Pinaud, I can smell old-timey barbershop. But the Barbasol Brisk, this is what I remember smelling in the barbershops where I grew up. And it's a wonderful scent, but more than that, it really has a wonderful feel to the face. I used some this evening after a shave, after my shave this evening, and it makes your face feel so wonderful. If you've got a soap that dries your face out and stuff like that, this stuff right here will make it feel like you shaved with Mitchell's Wool Fat. I mean, it's got a wonderful feel to the face, wonderful, nourishing, soothing properties. The menthol level in it is a bit above Aqua Velva Blue, and it just helps to soothe irritation and all of that. But I like it because of the face feel that it gives. It just feeds your face, and if you haven't tried it, if you thought, oh, that's $1.75 aftershave, it's a cheap old school kind of thing, and why in the world would I want to try that? You ought to give this a shot, because I think you'll be really pleased with one or all of the qualities. You might not be too knocked out with the scent. In that case, I would suggest you try the Pacific Rush. It's a lighter type of scent, same kind of skin benefits. I use this as well, but this is the favorite of them. It brings back the old memories from when I was a kid, and it just, I reach for this more than probably any other aftershave because of that, because of all of those qualities. Wonderful Barbasol Brisk. Next up is Pinaud Clubman. Everybody should be pretty much aware of this aftershave. It has a scent that's been copied by a lot of people. Avon copied it for their Wild Country aftershave in the 70s. And Wild Country is still one of my favorites. But the Pinaud Clubman is even better. Wonderful aftershave. Of course, you can't miss Aqua Velva Ice Blue. Wonderful barbershop scent. Menthol is wonderful, but its cousin or brother, sister, whatever you want to call it, Aqua Velva Musk, is also a wonderful aftershave. It is a wonderful musk scent, but it's also, to me, it's a wonderfully complex kind of scent. There's a lot more to this than just a musk aftershave. And if you read it, it says aftershave and cologne. And that's exactly right. I mean, this thing lasts a good 3.5 hours easy on me. The Barbasol Brisk lasts 4 or 5 hours, but this lasts a good 3.5 hours on me. Wonderful aftershave. Uh, and then of course one of my all-time favorites that I've used since the 1970s, Old Spice. Now this is the Procter & Gamble variety because I didn't get into the traditional wet shaving until way after Procter & Gamble took over Old Spice, and I never got the memo that said that Old Spice, Schulten sold Old Spice to Procter & Gamble, and now all of a sudden it's different. When my Old Spice with the gray cap ran out, I went down to the drugstore and bought the one they had, which had the red cap on it, and kept putting it on. And to be honest, I never noticed a difference. Now, if you know, you can debate all kind of things about whether there's any difference in the aftershave. I don't really care. The old stuff, the Schulten variety that they sell now, made in India, that you can get through, I think, West Coast Shaving and a couple other places. That it's probably a wonderful aftershave, and it's probably a bit different from this, but I bet it's not a whole lot. They say this has got a bit more of a powdery scent to it after it dries than the Schulten variety that's made now. I don't care. Like I said, when my Schulten ran out, I ran out to the drugstore and bought the Procter & Gamble variety and didn't even realize there was a difference because I didn't pay attention to who made the stuff. So when I was slathering on the Schulten with the gray tip, I didn't know it was made by Schulten. I have a clue. It was Old Spice, and it was my first love of aftershaves, and I just went and got some more and kept using it, and I love the Procter & Gamble Old Spice. Just fine like it is. A wonderful aftershave. I also use the deodorant. I like the Old Spice scent. It's wonderful. I keep a spare because I don't want to be without it. And so aftershaves, yeah. And then we get into cologne and eau de toilette. This is one of my favorite colognes, Z14 Halston Z14. The aftershave is wonderful as well. Lovely. I'm not really good at describing scents, but I like the Halston a lot. My favorite eau de toilette is Swiss Army. This has just got a nice, clean, fresh, light kind of scent. It would be, I think they class this as like a daytime fragrance or whatever. Like I said, not a scent guy. I don't care. I just know if I like something. And this has got a wonderful, wonderful scent to it. I love this eau de toilette. I need to buy the aftershave. It's available. I just haven't got around to ordering it because I think it would rock as well. But this is my favorite scent. If I want cologne, eau de toilette, or anything like that, if I'm not using an aftershave, if I'm wanting to go out and I want to smell good, this is the scent. My wife loves it. You know, win-win for me. I love it, and it's just a lovely eau de toilette. My favorite scent. And then of course you want to look at things like aftershave balms. I don't use very many of them during most of the year because my skin is naturally oily. Now around this time, the winter time, out in the wind and the air, the cold air and stuff like that dries my face out. So every now and then I will use if I feel that my skin, if the soaps that I'm using, which many of the soaps that I'm using have a lot of moisturizing qualities, and if the Barbasol Brisk, if I'm not using that uh, regularly, and my face starts to feel like it's drying out and stuff, then I'll go for some type of balm. Normally, I'll either use the Dove Men's Plus Care, which is, to me, in my opinion, this is a wonderful aftershave balm. The Swiss Army aftershave balm is also lovely, and it has the Swiss Army scent. But this is a lovely balm, and about half the time, if I'm looking for a balm, I'll reach for this. The other half is just something that's really simple. The other half of the time, I'll just use something like this. Now, lavender and lilac are scents that I love anyway. I haven't been able to find this. My wife's probably had this in the house for 10 years, probably. And I found it this beginning of this year, and I said, "Do you use that anymore?" It was down in the bottom of a drawer where she's got about 50 different kinds. And she said, "No." I said, "Well, can I try it?" And this is just a wonderful, it's called a replenishing lotion. And this is just wonderful on your skin. Just a wonderful lotion. There's nothing wrong with that. With guys using products like this, they make shea butter and oatmeal and all kinds. They make any kind of scent you can think of that would go with pretty much any kind of soap that you want to think of that we've got, or anything like that. So, I mean, if I could give you a piece of advice, one piece of advice in this video would be, don't overlook the moisturizing creams and stuff, lotions and stuff, just on the shelf by St. Ives and others like that, because they're wonderful products. They don't cost as much as a dedicated balm does, and they will put a lot of moisturizing and a lot of healing properties. They have a lot of healing properties and moisturizing properties, and they're good for your skin. So, I mean, I use it all the time when I need something like that. I don't have a problem with that. But now, I haven't quite left since, because this is the last of the video, the last part of this video. I collect old Avon, and I've just got, I think, 4 here right now that are the favorites in my collection. I don't have a big collection. I've got 3 or 4 more that are not here, and that's it. I mean, I don't got 7 or 8 different decanters, and that's it. But if I find some more that I like, these are all new old stock here. They come with the boxes and everything. And this is Avon Spicy. It's Avon's take on Old Spice, and it's wonderful. I would say the Spicy is probably closer to what people think of as the original Schulten. And this is a DE, shaped like a DE razor. But this is probably closer to Schulten's than the Procter & Gamble variety, but doesn't last as long. But I'll never use this. It's never been opened. It's never been used. It's not going to be. But it came with a box. Super Shaver, Avon Spicy Aftershave Lotion. Looking for the brush. They made a brush like it. There's a lady that sells these at the local flea market, new old stock in the box. And I'll check her out again when the weather warms up. And then I've got a KAVN. This is also Avon Spicy. It's just an old-timey, like, radio microphone. New old stock, never been opened. There's the box for it. And then the Sterling 6. New old stock. All these new old stock, never been opened. With the box. This is Avon's Thai Winds scent, and it's just a wonderful scent. I have the Spicy, the Wild Country, the Thai Winds, and I forget what the other one is. Deep Woods in decanters that have that I bought. They had already been opened, and there was like most of it left, but not all of it. And I have those aftershaves in different decanters that I do use from time to time. But and then of course this is Deep Woods, the Bugatti 27. The little lid comes off like that, goes back on. With the box. Just, you know, I grew up, when I started shaving, it was Old Spice or Avon Wild Country. My mom used to get Avon. The Avon lady came like once a month or once every couple of weeks or whatever, and my mom would order a little bit of stuff from her. And when I started shaving, she said, Mike, do you like any of these? Does this stuff look good to you? Would you like to try some? And I would pick out. I had the Bugatti. I believe I had this Sterling 6. I had the old Indian head, and also the Buffalo Nickel. A bunch of stuff when I was a kid. And so, I mean, I thought they were really cool then. I still think they're really cool now. And so that's why I collect them. But I don't have a lot of room left. I live in a trailer, and I'm running out of room for stuff like that. That's big stuff, and it's hard to find a place for. But they made some smaller stuff too, so I can pick up some of the smaller stuff for a while until the wife gets, you know, up to about here with it, and then I'll have to stop. But thanks for joining me. I hope that you saw some stuff that you liked. I appreciate you sharing, being able to share this with you. I hope it was an interest to you. And bless you. God bless you. And I will see you with a shave video as soon as I possibly can. I don't know when that'll be. I don't know if it'll be before Christmas or not. I'm hoping to do something right between now and Christmas Eve. So be looking for that, and maybe another shave video with a new product or something. But anyway, God bless you, and look for me on YouTube and Google Plus, on the Facebook shave groups, The Big Shave, The Frugal Wet Shaver, and on the shave forums. Have a good one.